The FunKey S. Wow, it's fun. It fits on your keys. S. This thing is so small it fits in your pocket. It's so small it fits in the pocket that's in your pocket. It's so small it fits in a pocket in your pocket. It's so small it fits. Disgusting! The FunKey is always fun. If you aren't having fun playing one game, don't worry. It somehow comes with all of them. And if you aren't having fun anymore playing one console on the FunKey S, don't worry. It plays the PlayStation 1, Game Gear, NES, Super NES, the Game Boy Classic, Color and Advance, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Atari, Neo Geo Pocket, WonderSwan, and many, many more to come in future updates. I know there's one guy in the comments right now going, I'm not buying one unless it plays the Apple Pippin. It has an ARM Cortex A7 1.2 GHz processor and 64 MB of DDR2 RAM. It has a 1.52-inch IPS screen which is 240 by 240 and it's powered by a 410 mAh lithium-ion battery which is rechargeable by micro USB. The cost? Your firstborn child, €65. That's £55 or $77. Let's take a look at it. So this is the FunKey S, and as you can see the box itself is the exact same size as a regular Game Boy Advance SP. Now this thing was crowdfunded. I believe the whole adventure started about 3 years ago. It raised 160-something thousand euros on Kickstarter, and they are so desirable that they are currently out of stock and the next batch of production is being worked on. So they're very, very popular. I will leave links to their website in the description below. If there's any information that I forget to give you, definitely just click on the link in the description and check out their website. This video has not been sponsored by FunKey S. This is it right here. I mean, just look at it. It is 100% the coolest thing that has come out in the last couple of years in this space. Stuff is just getting very samey and everything just seems to be pretty much the same thing in a different form factor, a different material, a different analog stick, and this really is a refreshing thing to see in this space. So very cool. Included in the box, don't worry, micro USB haters, there is a micro USB cable and it's rather short. I know loads of people are going to be saying, I wish it was USB-C. You now have yourself a micro USB cable. Problem solved. It comes with a bunch of different buttons if you want to customize it yourself. You could obviously have a sort of a SNES layout. It is that sort of color, that gray, but I personally think it looks a lot more sleek, being the gray and darker gray, so that's really cool. We're going to take a look at this console in just a second. And finally, the manual. Now, this is a very well thought out product. This is not something that has been thrown together by some people who are just looking to make a quick buck. This is a 100% passion-driven project. The original prototype was hand-built, which is amazing to see, and there's loads of information about that online. My friend Brandon even did a video on the original prototype. So here it is, FunKey S. This is the manual, and look at that. It's a miniature FunKey S, which is just so cool. So you can open it up. You've got the button layout there. You've got the shortcut button to well, this is actually showing you the different shortcuts you can do. So there's a function button up there, and you've got zoom in and out. You've got aspect ratio, volume up and down, brightness up and down. So that would mean you don't have to keep pressing the menu button to open up the menu. So here is the device itself, and as I said, it is very, very lovely. The plastic feels very high quality. Nothing on this device feels low quality at all. The only thing I would say, get rid of this lanyard. I'm sorry, or this keychain, whatever you want to call it. Don't put this on your keys. That is a one-way ticket to destroying this thing. I hate the fact that this is anything to do with keys. I kind of understand it from a more commercialized perspective. It might be a more appeal if it's put on your keys or something, but you know, even in the ad, they show them like picking it up and chucking it down with the keys on it. Terrible idea. Absolutely terrible idea. This is a plastic device. The screen is very thin. You just don't want to be putting it on your keys. It's definitely more of a commercialized way to sell it because everybody has keys. But yeah, I don't like that element of it at all. You've got two very cute little L&R triggers. Obviously, everything is in the same location. as the regular Game Boy, so that's nice. They're pretty tough. They're micro switched, which probably will loosen up over time. You've got to remember this thing's very small. You're not going to be getting the biggest grip on it in the world. So the micro USB port is there on the side, and that's pretty much it besides that little keychain hole. You've got an LED indicator on the front there, which is going to give you the status on the battery and the power. And finally, if we open it up, that is how the thing turns on. And I have to say, this hinge mechanism is very impressive. It is so rigid and tough. Like it's not easy to close. Like I'm really having to apply some force to that. You know, if I hold it like that, it's going to be very difficult for me to close it. Like there's no way. It's so nice. And then when you close it, you've got a nice little snap at the bottom, and that's going to power it off. As you can see there, it's saying shutting down. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. It's 100% my favorite handheld console right now. So let's flick this thing open. And then you can see the 1.5-inch IPS screen at the top there, which is obviously not the biggest thing in the world, but it is a tiny little device. This is the UI, as you can see. This is probably my favorite UI, purely because when you select a game, it's going to be in a list. Some of the other UIs that you've got, the theme or whatever you want to call it, the original one it comes with is this one here. So yeah, this does look very cool. However, when you go in there, you're going to have to scroll through all of the games like that, which is just a bit of a nightmare. The function button works very well. That's your brightness up and down, and then you've got your volume up and down. You've got the zoom. I think that's probably for when you're actually in a game, and then you've got the aspect ratio at the bottom there as well. So anyway, let's change the theme back. So let's start off with a little bit of Game Boy, because that is what this thing is. I'm not actually sure how these games are on here. It's definitely a controversial one, but it's not my problem, because this thing comes with the games on it. So yeah, look at it. It works perfectly. The one thing I would say, if I turn up this volume here, oh, the volume, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet, but it is tiny. You know, it is an absolutely tiny little device, but it is quiet. It's a little bit deceptive on the bottom there. There's two speaker grills, but there's actually only a speaker on this side. If I cover that, nothing's going to happen. But yeah, obviously this is working absolutely perfectly. Again, don't expect the most flawless of emulation. Look at the size of this thing. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of screen tear, but it's absolutely playable. There is no denying that. And you can have a lot of fun on it, let's be honest. You've got your save states, which is nice. You can save, I think, up to 9 save states. And then also you can load them there as well, which means you can just go in and out of any sort of game and any save state. You can change the aspect ratio. In this game, obviously, it's as you want it. You're not going to want to change that. But if I show you the Game Boy Advance, here we go. So you're probably going to want to change this. It looks quite funky, actually, as in this aspect ratio, excuse the pun, but yeah, you're probably going to want to change that. So very simply, you can either press the FN button and the down one, and that's going to change the aspect ratio. So that's going to be the one that you probably prefer to play it at. And again, it's very, very small, but it is 100% playable. And just look at that. How cool is that? That has got to be one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. It's not even in the slightest bit unplayable. I mean, it's hard to play looking for a viewfinder because the screen is very small, but this is fantastic. Oh, I'm so excited about it, honestly. I just love this thing so much. It just feels like, when I first got a Game Boy, like this tiny cool thing that, you know, nowadays looks kind of old, but now that you've got this new modern thing that plays everything in this form factor and it plays it all this well, I'm so stoked that this thing exists. So let's come out of there and let's try a little bit of a more complicated system. We're going to go over to PlayStation. Now that's going to be one that some people are going to be wondering about, so let's have a little look. Here we go, look, so this is PlayStation 1 on the FunKey S. Sorry, but how ridiculous is that? And it doesn't feel bad. It feels really smooth. It's certainly playable. This is ridiculous. I can't imagine this is going to do a lot for your battery life. I think battery life on this thing is about 2 hours. It's obviously only a very small little device, but from my experience, it charges very quickly. So if you just bring a portable battery bank with you, whoopsie, I've gone all over the place, then you can charge it back up again real quick. So the last thing I'm going to do is take a look at Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. That's one that a lot of people are curious about because it's utilizing the Super FX chip or something inside the Super Nintendo. So if this emulates well, then we know we're cooking on gas. So here we go. Okay, so this is perfect. Look at this. And it sounds fantastic as well. So hard to play through the viewfinder. No. No. Yes, we did it. Look at it. It's just beautiful. Okay, so that works absolutely perfect. There is no denying that. It's working beautifully. This, yeah, hands down my favorite device. And then again, to turn it off, you can save your little slot there. Go over to save slot and put it in save slot 2, and then you can just close the lid and pick it up another time. So there we go. That is the FunKey S, 100% the coolest device that has come out in a very long time. I actually reached out to FunKey and asked them if I could review this because I just loved it and I was so excited to get my hands on this. It only arrived yesterday and I played it all evening and now here's the review. So I'm very excited. That is the FunKey S. I hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below and I'll catch you all in the next video. Goodbye.